This time we're in Nur-Sultan, formerly known as Astana. It's the capital of Kazakhstan. Let's go take a look around. The city, second largest and capital of Kazakhstan, has a history of changing its name. Pre-1998 it was known as Akmola, changing then to Astana and most recently in 2019 to Nur-Sultan after the first president of an independent Kazakhstan, Nur-Sultan Nazarbayev. Once the city became the capital in 1997, a major planned city project changed the size, design and look of the city forever. New roads, office buildings, hotels and monuments were built, the most iconic of which is the Bayterek Tower. 700 tenge will get you to the top of this 105-metre tower, where you can look out across the whole city and even place your hands over a mould of the former president's hands. We stopped by a supermarket for lunch. The fresh Central Asian breads, Western and Russian style salads, and meat-filled pastries hint at the demographic of the population and look too good not to try. The 2-kilometre long Lovers Park leads to the Khan Shatir shopping centre. This massive space was built to represent a traditional Kazakh nomad's yurt. Inside you'll find all kinds of randomness: shops, food places, a ghost train, monorail, and even a water park with a real sand beach. Why not take a trip around the world on the monorail and visit London, Istanbul and Nur-Sultan in just one rotation of a Kazakh yurt?
Oh my god!
I don't know if it was an underlying mistrust of the safety of the rides or if they were genuinely scary, but you can try your luck on any of them for just 1,000 tenge. Modern glass skyscrapers dot the city. They are impressive to look at, but we couldn't help but think that they were not being used. The city seems quiet and maybe has to grow into the space that has been built. The city's main mosque hints at the main religion of the country. Ethnic Kazakhs now make up around 68% of the population and traditionally follow Islam. The next biggest group are Russians, who follow Orthodox Christianity. The Nur Astana Mosque has room for 5,000 worshippers and was built in 2008 as a gift from the state of Qatar. Despite having a relatively low population of just 1 million, the city is very large and spread out. We used taxi app Yandex to get around. It was super cheap and easy to use. We took a taxi to Astana Park, home to leisure pursuits such as a funfair and swimming pool. The park runs alongside the Ishim River, and projects such as this cool footbridge are examples of how the city is becoming more of a livable place. We stopped off at the Kazakhstan Military History Museum. Unless you're into stuff like this, we wouldn't recommend. It's a huge space filled with not much. A metaphor for the city, maybe? If you're looking to get out of the city, the resort of Burabay is a great option. Located about a 3-hour drive north of Nur-Sultan, it feels like a different world. The flat, dusty plains make way for lush, tree-covered mountains that line shimmering lakes. Our hotel in Nur-Sultan organised a taxi for us to get there, at a cost of around 10,000 tenge one way. Burabay town itself is fairly nondescript, but it does have some restaurants and hotels. Nearby the lake you can find slides and pedal boats for rent, but we decided to walk along the well-maintained boardwalk bordering the massive lake. It's possible to arrange bike or canoe hire, or if you're up for it, even a climbing expedition to climb one of the many rock mountains. After our visit to Burabay, we flew down to Almaty, the biggest city in the country, but we were first headed to the mountain village of Shymbulak. Shymbulak is predominantly a ski resort located only 40 minutes from the centre of Almaty. The resort itself is close to traffic, so the majority of visitors arrive by cable car, the first station of which has a large car park and ticket office. Tickets start at 3,500 tenge for a return from here to Shymbulak, rising to 4,000 tenge if you want to take all 3 cable cars to the top of the mountain. After a 10-minute gondola ride, you arrive in the resort itself, where you will find bars, restaurants, chalets, a bakery and a hotel. The resort boasts 300 days of sunshine per year, and it was very warm here in July when we visited. But during the ski season from November to April, temperatures obviously plummet, and average snow cover is 1.5 meters. Despite offering 20 kilometers of ski slopes, it is well worth visiting in summer to escape the crazy heat of Almaty.
Currently we're at about 2,300 meters, but the cable cars go up to about 3,200 meters, so it's pretty high. So yeah, let's go have a look around.
Two separate cable car lines take you smoothly up the mountain. Halfway up you will find a restaurant with breathtaking views back down to Almaty. Once at the very top, you can have a drink in the bar or take a hike around the stunning mountains. There is a choice of paths to take, but none are maintained, so be careful of loose ground. The altitude also means there is less oxygen in the air, so hills become a struggle. The complete peace and quiet and stunning views make this a great spot for a picnic, or simply as a place to relax and unwind.
So now it's time to leave Shymbulak. We're going to take the cable car down and then get a taxi from there into Almaty city centre and have a look around there. So we've just arrived in Almaty. Can't check into a hotel yet, it's only midday. So we've been walking around the city, just been along a pedestrian street, now in some park where there's apparently a Russian Orthodox cathedral. We haven't really got a plan for Almaty. We know there's a big lake somewhere, so we'll go check that out at some point. Other than that, we're here for good fun and good food, so let's see what happens.
Zenkov's cathedral was built in 1907, around the time the first Russian settlers came to Kazakhstan. Set in a large, peaceful and manicured garden, it is a very traditional example of Russian Orthodox architecture. The gleaming gold icons, colourful paintings and candle-lit rooms give the interior of the cathedral an extra special atmosphere, and the onion-domed roof is unmistakably classic Russian.
It is absolutely roasting in Almaty today, about 38 degrees. We found this cute kind of shaded park next to the cathedral, so just having a look around and see if there's anything interesting to see here as well.
The War Memorial is another example of the Russian influence in Kazakhstan. Although now only about 20% of the population identify as Russian, everyone speaks Russian, despite efforts to reintroduce the use of the Kazakh language. All restaurants, attractions, public transport and museums all use Russian as the first language.
Something you see in most Russian cities, or at least ex-USSR places, is the Eternal Flame, which is a monument for the Great Patriotic War, which the Russians call it, but we call it World War II.
The Almantinsky Zolotoy Central Bazaar is a huge space to find all manner of fresh produce, clothing and souvenirs. Prices are cheap and, judging by the people here, a very authentic local place to come shopping.
So we're at the central mosque in Almaty. Pretty big. Unfortunately, we can't go in right now because we've got shorts on because it's so hot outside, but looks nice from the outside. So there's a sign outside that says that Islam came to Kazakhstan around 2,000 years ago, and the central mosque in Almaty has room for 3,000 worshippers, so it's pretty big. There's separate male and female entrances and obviously a dress code to follow, so we can't go in today.
One legacy of the Soviet times is the Almaty metro system. Typically large, grand stations are dotted around the city and are a useful way of getting around. You can buy a ticket if you wish, or simply tap in and out with your credit card. A one-way journey is just 80 tenge. Our ride took us to the Kaztiev Art Museum. It's a nice place to while away a few hours if it's boiling hot or freezing cold outside. you'll find a vast array of paintings, sculptures and regional crafts from the 16th century up to more recent works. We called a Yandex taxi using the app and headed to Big Almaty Lake. The hour-long journey took us out of the city, past the impressive entrance to First President Park, and then up into the mountains. The road climbs and slithers its way up past some very majestic scenery.
Behind me is Big Almaty Lake. We just took a taxi here from the city and it's like 35 degrees in the city, but here it's pissing down with rain and it's freezing cold. It's pretty beautiful though, hemmed in with mountains. I heard a guy said that the colour of the water changes quite often, so when you visit it may look a little bit different to this, but on a really sunny day it would be brilliant, but today, yeah, cold.
For our last day in town, we headed to the Palace of the Republic, from where you can catch a cable car to Kok Tobe Park. The park is located upon a large hill overlooking the city. You can spend a few hours up here checking out the amusements and getting a bite to eat. If you ever get the chance to visit Kazakhstan, it's well worth the effort to get here. The people were friendly, the scenery is amazing, and the food is varied and tasty. We hope you found this guide useful. Let us know in the comments below if you have ever visited Kazakhstan and your experience of it. Please subscribe for our weekly videos. But until next time, happy travels from the Memory Seekers.